or the other VIFs. Okay, let's have a look about this GMV6. So for this presentation, there are three parts. The first part is about the general view of the GMV6. Second part about some features. And the last part is about the comparison with the other brand. Okay, so for the first part, so this is the GMV6 appearance of the auto unit. Actually, it's very compact, very versatile. It's very beautiful. Looks like a diamond design. And for the GMV6 1990 series, the working temperature range is from -25 to 48 Celsius. That's the Latin American series, GMV6. And for capacity range is from 22.4 kilowatts to 272 kilowatts. This is the range for GMV6 Latin America. Okay. And if, for Latin America, there are different power supply. So based on the power supply difference, we develop the 200 volts, 60 hertz, this unit. Okay. And for this series, the basic capacity is from 22.4, 28, 33.5, 33. They are the same size. They are the same size. And for these two, 40 and 45 kilowatts, and this 50, 56, 61, 68, this six capacity, they are the same size, same dimension. And if you combine multiple auto units together, then you can get the maximum combination can be reached to 680 kilowatts. Okay, that's the maximum capacity range for the modularization. Okay, and for the other core features, I will introduce them later one by one. Okay, and for the operation range for cooling is -15 Celsius to 48 Celsius. And for heating is -25 to 24 Celsius. And for this value, -15, this is conditional. Yeah, this is conditional. So, for this temperature, ambient is very cold. So normally in this condition, not really many people, they would like to use the cooling. So if you want, you need to ask the sales manager for some customization request. So this is conditional, -15. But we can do that. But we can do that. Oh, sorry. For the control, please just. Okay, my friends. Do not ask the request, okay? Do not ask the request for the screen control. I need to use my laser. Okay. And for the next series is the 400 volts power supply. The previous one is 200 volts. And for this one, the capacity range, the combination, maximum, they are the same. They are the same, just the power supply is different. Also the operation range, they are the same. Cooling and heating, they are the same. Okay, and for these two series, not only Latin America, also the other region, country, and their markets, we develop different series for them. So here is a conclusion summary of GMV6 World Series. You can see the difference between them. The first one is GMV6 Asia Pacific, and we also have the EU T1 climate, and the GMV6 Middle East T3, and GMV6 EU anti-corrosion series. And for today's what we are talking about is GMV6 Latin America 220 volts and 460 volts. That's what we are talking about today. Okay, and you can see for the GMV6 for different countries and market, the first difference is the nomenclature. The nomenclature of them, they are different. The last letter is different. So for you guys, the Latin America series, the last letter is F, GF, and GU. That's yours. That's your GMV6 model. Okay. And for the certificate, we have the safety, we have the CB and ETL. Okay. And these two series is specially designed for Latin America countries and regions. Yeah, that's specialized for Latin America. And here is the capacity range, basic 22.4 to 68 kilowatts. That's for just the one auto unit, just the one auto unit. If there is a need of combination modularization, you can get this kind of combination. The maximum is 272 kilowatts. Okay.
Ça, c'est pour la
This
vidéo.
is the operation range.
Ouais.
Minus 25 to 48 Celsius.
Branche le son, puis
Okay. And just as I said, the minus 15, this is conditional. This is conditional design. So if you have the special request for your project, you can contact the sales manager for the customization. Yeah. Well, sorry. Okay, my friends, sorry about microphone is muted by someone. Okay, my friends, if you just join our room, join our training room, please do not do the other operations. Okay, please do not mute me. I have to speak. I have to do the presentation. Okay, the first one is about the compressor. You know, for this compressor, there is a EVI function. Yeah, this is really special because for ordinary compressor, there is just a suction and discharge. Okay, just a suction discharge. However, in this inverter screw compressor, there is a vapor injection, enhanced vapor injection in the middle stage. So actually, for this feature, you can see here this is the compression graph. You can see for the with the EVI function, the units can save the power, the compressor power consumption to this range, and at the same time, the compression ratio is still the same. That means you can get the same cooling or heating performance with lower power consumption. That's the benefit of enhanced vapor injection, this kind of technology. Okay, that's the first one, EVI. And second one is the pressure relief valve. There is a built-in pressure relief valve here. So if part load or some condition, this valve will open to relieve some refrigerant to satisfy the circulation of the compressor. Okay, and third one is about the design, the line. That's the optimized asymmetric vortex line. That is a kind of internal design for the compressor chamber. Okay, and the first one is the internal oil circulation. In the middle, there is a oil circulation pipe from the middle to the bottom to circulate the oil and make sure the lubricating can spread evenly in the chamber. And number 5 is the oil balance. Is an oil balance pipe from here to the bottom, also to keep the lubrication in good state. And next one is the high speed. You can see the maximum speed can be 140 RPS. So this is really fast for the rotation and capacity output. And number 7 is the oil pump filter at the bottom. At the bottom, there is a filter to clean the impurity or foreign matter in the system to keep the reliability of the compressor. The next one is a gear pump. That's the gear pump here. Also to pump out the oil if too much inside. Okay, that's the advantage and features of this DC inverter scroll compressor with the EVI technology. Okay, that's the first one. And except that, we have more precise refrigerant control. You can see here is the diagram of the system. So first one is the economizer. For this unit, the economizer is 480 pulse expansion valve to control the refrigerant flow for the subcooling, control for 180 pulse. That's the first one, expansion valve. Another one is the EVI expansion valve. For every compressor, there is. So what is the advantage of these two? You know, the more expansion valves you have, the more precise you can control for the refrigerant flow, right? So if we just do a comparison between the single expansion valve and the dual expansion valve, you can see the difference here. If there is just one expansion valve, so actually every time, every adjustment, the height is not really small. That means the stage is big. Every stage is big. So that's not the best control precision for GMV6 for the VIF. And if there are dual expansion valve, in the circulation, you can see the control is very smooth. It's very smooth because every stage is very small. Okay, it's very smooth. So that means the adjustment is more precise for the system. Okay, and meanwhile, you know, for every compressor, there is a EVI technology, EVI tube. So if only one EVI maybe compressor 1 can get the enthalpy increase. However, compressor 2 cannot. Okay, that's not the best. So for the auto units with 2 compressors, we adopt 2 EVI expansion valve for each compressor. So both of them, they can get the same enthalpy increase during the running. Okay, that's the expansion valve control improvement for GMV6. Except for the expansion valve for subcooling and the EVI, another one is the heating expansion valve here. This expansion valve is especially designed for heating. And the pulse is 3000 pulse. That means that the caliber of the valve is bigger and it can flow more refrigerant during heating. So that's better than the previous generation and the other brand. And for the indoor units, it also uses the expansion valve 480 pulse. That's the same with previous. Okay, next one is the heat exchanger. So for GMV6, the heat exchanger is also a very big improvement. So first one, you can see here, so for some brand, they use, for the auto units heat exchanger, the smaller copper tube, the better heat exchange performance, right? So for GMV6, we use a smaller copper tube. A smaller copper tube in the condenser. It's about 5.7. It's about a 5.7 caliber. And also the fin, the other used the sneed fin. However, GMV6 used the corrugated hydrophilic design. Why we choose this kinds of fin? Because for some country and the location, the VIF is very easy to get some dust or get some frost in winter. So we changed the idea, we changed the design idea to use this kind of corrugated hydrophilic design so that the performance during defrosting will be better. Yeah, easier defrosting in winter, and also the anti-corrosive performance is better for this kind of thing. And the other difference is the heat exchanger structure. Now you can see the difference. For the GMV5, there is only one part, right? There is only one part. However, in GMV6, we just separate one piece to 2 pieces. Piece 1, piece 2, they are separated. And for the flow path, that's 1, 2, 1, which means for each piece, for each auto unit, there are two distribution in and do the heat exchange separately. And that's better for the heat exchange. For the auto units, the ventilation from the bottom to the top, they are uneven. So depends on the wind field. For the lower side and the upper side, we can distribute different amount of refrigerant to the heat exchanger to make the heat exchange performance better. That's why we separate the outdoor heat exchangers separately. Okay. And next one is about the fan. The fan is also changed. The first is about the fan blade. For the fan blade, we use the reversed S-shaped tail. So why we choose this one? For the fan blades, the tail, normally the tail, there are some turbulence, eddy, some turbulence there. It will cause the noise increase. And In order to reduce the noise and keep the air volume, we choose the reversed S-shaped tail. Yeah, that's good for the air supply volume and also reduce the noise. That's the first one. The second one is the grill, the air grill. And this is flat. This is flat and with a very how to say that is a big size area. So actually, you know, even the bigger size, the big area, even the same speed, you can supply more air volume, right? So actually, for this one, the air output area is improved by about 7.8%, and the total air volume is up by 16. That's better for the ventilation and the heat exchange of the outdoor unit. Okay, next one is about energy saving. And for VIF units, normally the project is commercial. It's a relatively big project. So maybe the owner and the customer, they want to choose different running strategy. So for the standard one is the capacity first. With the sufficient power supply, the units can run as the units want, right? To maximize the capacity. That's the capacity first. And if sometimes the user they want to limit or just save the energy and power consumption, they can choose the auto energy saving. And in this choice, they can get 15% energy saving, around 15%. So actually for this auto energy saving mode, it can balance the capacity and the power consumption to make a balanced choice. Okay, consider the power and consider the cooling nodes or heating nodes at the same time. The next one is the forcible energy saving. Okay, you can say from the name, that's forcible. That means if you set the forcible energy saving, the first priority is the power consumption. So in this case, the units will limit the running output to reduce the power consumption in this case. Okay, and in general, no matter which mode you choose, actually, if you set the energy saving mode, the capacity of units will be affected around 10 to 20%. Okay, so just choose the energy saving mode. Depends on your requirement. Okay, depends on your demand. And next one is about the efficient intelligent control, HPAC. So some people may be curious about what is the HPAC? What does it mean? You can see here, HPAC is high performance alternate control. So what is the high performance alternate control? We can see here. You know, for the traditional control, the running sequence for each outdoor unit, they are shifted from one to the other to the next one to run in turn and balance their running time, right? That's a good idea for the lifespan. However, GMV6 is smarter. You know, for VIF, let's have a look here. For VIF, the best running region is not the minimum, also not the maximum. It's in the middle, about 16 or 60 or 70% in the middle. That's the maximum efficiency region. So actually, if the VIF run in part load, it's better to make them run in this efficient region because here the EER is the highest. So based on these characteristics, the GMV6 takes some new control logic. That's the HPC. For example, if part load, the units will choose the best combination. The best combination consider their capacity, consider their outdoor units capacity, and also the indoor cooling nodes or heating nodes, and make sure in this case, the capacity is just in the middle in this region, around 60 or 70% around this region. So that this kinds of control logic can make the system always run in a high efficiency region to keep the output, meanwhile save the power consumption at the same time. Okay, that's the HPC. So actually, there are three factors. One is the compressor, and the indoor unit heat exchanger, and outdoor unit heat exchanger, and make the optimum matching for these three, and make it always run in the excellent efficient region. That's the HPC control. Okay. So that's it. It's really good for VIF system and make it run more smartly. And next one is SRL. SRL is the self-reaction node. Self-reaction node. Okay, so what is a self-reaction node? I can't get the meaning from the name. So we just have a look of this charter. This blue curve is the setting, right? Expected indoor temperature. That's the setting you did for the air conditioning room. And this green one is the actual indoor temperature room. That means with the running time be longer, the actual temperature will reach to the setting, right? We are close to the setting, and then the setting temperature is reached and the unit stand by, and that the air conditioning is okay, it's finished for that time. However, you know, for this process, the general no pressure change and SRL no pressure change, they are different. For the general no pressure change is very flat. It's very flat. That means no matter how much the difference between the actual and the setting and temperature, the no pressure is very flat. Only when the setting point is reached, then the flow, the low pressure will change a little by a little by a little. However, SRL, the low pressure will change very responsive. Before the actual setting, actual temperature reach to the setting, with it gets more close, the low pressure will change more responsive. You can see the slope. The slope is more sharp. And if the no pressure change more responsive, in this case, the power consumption will reduce accordingly, right? So you can just consider SRL is a kind of more responsive control for the running. Okay. On the contrary, for heating is similar. Is the actual temperature reached to the setting? In this case, the high pressure will change before the setting temperature reached. Okay, and the power consumption decreased. So that's good for the customer comfort and also the power consumption. Okay, that's the SRL. And this kind of control logic is more intelligent than the general control about the pressure and temperature. And next one is about the refrigerant circuit control. You know, for VIF, there is a phenomenon. If the unit stand by, for example, in winter for a long time, and a lot of liquids will be stored in the gas liquid separator. Because of the refrigerant, normally would like to flow from the heat exchanger and transfer to the gas liquid separator or compressor and stay there. And for in this case, if too much liquid in the tank, and it's very hard to get a very quick start for heating, right? Because you have to wait for a long time for preheating, and then the unit can suck the gas to the system and make it circulate. And however, GMV6 can detect by the pressure and the temperature to use some pressure control, use some high pressure gas to push the liquids in the separator to circulate more faster in the pipeline. For example, here, if the unit wants the heating be quicker, it can use some hot gas to push the liquid evaporate and circulate in the system. Okay, and in this case, the heating capacity during the starting process can be increased by 15%. That's really good for the heating in winter. Okay. Next one is about the defrosting. Defrosting is a really headache problem for VIF. Okay, not only for VIF, for most of the air conditioner, the RAC, the other kinds of air conditioner, they are very easy to get defrosting in winter. And for the defrosting, this is the development timeline from the old times to current. Okay, the first one is the time defrosting. It depends on the time, depends on the running time, and the time is fixed regardless of frost. So actually, this kinds of defrosting method is very, how to say that, is very full, right? It just depends on time. No matter there is frost or no frost, and that's not good for the comfort in the room, and also cause some problem. And second one is the common units. It's used the temperature and pressure to defrost, right? Just detect these two value and judge what time share the units to start the defrosting. Okay, that's the second one. And it's very common for most of the air conditioner in the market. They use this defrosting technology. And for GMV6, it's more intelligent. Not only consider the temperature and the pressure, also consider the workload rate of the indoor units running. So GMV6 will determine when is the best time to start defrosting. If there are too many indoor units in running, if the units start defrosting now, it will affect the heating in the room. So only when the workload rate is okay, it's good to start defrosting, the GMV6 will start. And the defrosting period is variable, depends on how many defrost there and how many indoor units is running, and also consider the temperature and pressure. Based on that, GMV6 will choose the best timing for defrosting. So actually, this is a real smart defrosting technology for the units, and that's better for the customer's experience in heating mode in winter. And so for GMV6, in general, the units will automatically change the output capacity for defrosting. automatically change the capacity for defrosting. Depends on the factors, just as I said, the pressure, temperature, and time, and the workload of the indoor units. The other choice is about the heat storage box. Okay, so my friends, did you ever see this kind of solution for defrosting? Heat storage box is another choice for you. And you know, for the VIF defrosting, if the units start defrosting, it will shift to cooling, right? Shift to cooling to get some heat from the atmosphere and do the defrosting. However, in this case, the indoor, it will change to cooling mode. It will affect the temperature of the room. So actually, if there is a heat storage box, the VIF can get the heat from the heat storage box. It will not affect the other units' temperature in the room. Okay, that's another choice for defrosting, heat storage box. And next one is about noise. Normally the noise comes from compressor, fan motor, refrigerant, and tube, and some moving parts. That's the major source of the noise. So the first one I already introduced, the shape of fan blade is changed. We use the S-shape tail to reduce the noise, to reduce the turbulence at the tail. Another one is the grill. It's flat. It's flat with metal. It's with a metal to cover it. So actually, most of the noise will be isolated in the middle, and the noise the person can hear can be lower. And for the compressor running noise, we take two solutions. The first one is the sound absorber. It's integrated insulation cotton for the compressor to cover it and reduce the noise. The second one is a metal soundproof enclosure. Yeah, looks like a box, a metal box to cover the compressor. So actually, the noise can be more lower. And except for the insulation and the metal enclosure, another one is a new type silencer. Connects with the EVI expansion valve to reduce the pulsation, noise. Okay, that's the other treatment for compressor noise control. And the next one noise source is from the refrigerant, right? You know, for air conditioner, some person sometimes they can hear flow noise in the copper pipe. It's very clear why. Why the flow of the refrigerant will cause some noise. You can see just here. Normally, the refrigerant flow noise is caused by two-phase gas, right? Two-phase gas and liquid mixture flow in the copper pipe, and then some noise generated. If there is only liquid or just the liquid, single-phase liquid refrigerant in copper pipe is very quiet. You can imagine your water pipe in the room is very quiet, no noise, right? Just the liquid. So we use the subcooling. With the subcooling technology to get about 35 Celsius degree of the subcooling to prevent the two-phase refrigerant in the copper pipe and reduce the noise before the throttling. Okay. And also the gas separator is silent, a silent one with a very big volume, and the tube, the in-tube and the intake and outlets, they are separated to reduce the flow noise of the refrigerant in the system. Okay, that's the noise control. Next one is from logic of GMV6. You know, for the customer, the air conditioning habit is very, how to say that, is very, there is a rule for the user's habit, right? For example, from Monday to Friday is the working day, and they stay in the office. And for the other days, maybe holiday or weekend, that's another user habit. So actually, the GMV6 can learn and define and remember the user's habits. For example, today, when did you start the air conditioning, and when did you turn off the air conditioning? And how about the cooling nodes during the day, from which time to which time? So actually, based on that, there is logic change for the normal output. That's the beginning. The units were learning and defining the user's habits, and then after a long time accumulation of the learning, the units can remember the customer's air conditioning habits. So if, for example, if they start, how to say that? If they start to change the other scenario, the other air conditioner scenario, in this case, the units will automatically change the control logic to start the intelligent output adjustment. This is normal output, for example, during night or the sleeping period, the units will start the intelligent quiet operation to reduce the noise, to reduce the output. Okay, and for the next day, it will restore the normal output. It's automatically based on the control logic and the user's habit. Okay, that's automatically control. Is very smart for the noise reduce. It can be reduced. The noise can be reduced 3 decibel. Okay, that's the first part about the performance of GMV6. And the second part is about control and management. For VIF system is a relatively big project, especially in some hotel, some big building. There are many indoor units, so how to control of them? For more convenience, we develop many accessory and solution for GMV6 unit. You can see here, this is an overview. This is an overview of GMV6 intelligent control. You can choose the central controller or from the base station, from the server. Even for us, great. We can help you build cloud service. But actually, it depends. It depends on the market and your country. So we have the wired solution by the cable, also the wireless solution by the remote, by the Wi-Fi or by the internet. Yeah. And for the wireless solution, that's very it's okay for most of the market. However, wireless solution may be restricted by the government policy or some local code. So if you have some special wireless solution, you can ask our sales manager for some information. Okay. And the first one, the wireless monitoring system. This is very mature software for VRF units. You can use your laptop to monitor the running of GMV6 by the gateway and the network. And for this monitoring system, the maximum indoor units can be 8,160 indoor units can be connected to this software. So actually is very big for the total amount. And another one is the network. You can choose the LAN network or WAN network. And for the model, this software can support VIF, rooftop, UMatch, water heater, and air duct, big duct unit. So lots of VIF and LCAC units can use this software. And now let's have a look about the topology. Gray wireless monitoring system. So first one, you need a computer, right? You need a computer and a router to link with the laptop and another end to the gateway. And for each gateway connects with the VIF communication network to get the parameter and data and transmit to the router, then to the computer. So for one controller, for one gateway, for one controller, it can support 16 systems. And if you choose a big router, you can link with more controller. You can expand the controller number. Next, wireless monitoring solution is by this. Okay, maybe most of you didn't see this wireless controller. This is 5G. This is 5G DTU, data transmitting unit. 4G or 5G? 4G. Yeah, this is 4G. 4G wireless controller, a DTU. So for this module is placed on the electric box of our units, and this one can transmit the system data to the base station, to the server, and then you can get everything and display on your laptop. Okay, that's the wireless solution. However, just as I said, the wireless solution by the DTU, by this small DTU, may be restricted by your government or the local some rule, some code. So for this one, you have to ask our sales manager and also consider your regulation if it's possible to use this solution. Yeah, and this solution is very popular in China market because we have a we agree have a very good relationship and cooperation with the communication company. Yeah, we can do this very easily in China market. Okay. The next one is the billing system. For VIF system, another headache problem is how can I calculate the power consumption for each indoor unit, right? Because they share the same outdoor units, but for different room, they use the independent indoor units. So how can I calculate the power consumption for each one? That's the problem. And now we agree have this binning software to help you calculate the binning and output, help you output a detailed binning table. So you can use this one to help your customer get the power charge. So for this software can get the power consumption for each indoor unit, for every indoor unit, yeah. And you can get the details. You can get the details of each indoor unit power consumption. And another problem is about the power meter, right? Now this binning software can support 5 types of the ammeter, depends on country and the market. So you can ask the sales for which brand is the best ammeter brand for you. And now let's have a look about topology. For binning system, the topology is similar. However, there is a larger component. Is the outer units power meter here. So for this one, computer link with the router, link with the gateway. For the gateway, one port link with the VIF system gets the running data. Another port links with the power meter gets the power consumption value, and then they can be connect by the gateway and transmit to the software to finish the calculation and display the final binning for you. Okay, that's the topology. And in this software, this system, you need a computer, absolutely. And then a gateway, power binning gateway, this one. Okay, and a router. And then ammeter. Just as I said, there are 5 brands. 5 brands you can choose. Then wires. This part is the ordinary cable, 2 core. For this one is also ordinary cable. However, you can also use the shielded. Shielded cable is okay. It's also good. That's better. And this is the network cable from the gateway to the router. Okay. This is a basic topology for the binning system. Except for the monitoring system and the binning system, currently most of our projects, they will do some BMS, right? BMS design. So based on that, we develop some gateways for different protocol. The first one, backlight gateway. This one, that's the model name. And also Modbus gateway, including H2M gateway and the Modbus TCP, Modbus RTU. Okay, that's 3 Modbus gateway. And KNX gateway. This gateway is very popular nowadays. Many customers they would like to use this gateway. It's very easy for the installation and the connection. Okay, and here is the appearance. So actually, for most of the protocol gateways, we can offer to you. We have the solution. And for the model, it can support the VIF, rooftop, UMatch, water heater, big duct, and the other LCAC can connect with the gateways. to do the BMS or some remote control. And then next one is the central controller. For Grace central controller is very good for the management. We have two different central controller now. This one, that's the big size central controller, can be connected with 255 Indo units, and this is a smaller one. Okay, you can see they are linked with different network. This is for multiple systems. This is for the local, for just the one system. Okay. And for this central controller, it supports VIF, UMatch, FreeMatch, mini split. Yeah, these models can connect with this central controller. And for the CAN network, for this central controller, there are CAN network and Modbus network. CAN network is for the VIF 16 systems and 255 Indo units for maximum. And for the Modbus network, supports up to 36 Indo units. That's for the LCAC light commercial air conditioner. And okay, that's the first central controller, big size, 7-inch, looks like iPad. Okay, and you can use for single control or group control or schedule control, and do every setting by yourself. And for language, Chinese, English, Spanish, French, Portuguese, German, and Turkish. This language is supported for this central controller. And for the model, VIF, UMatch, FreeMatch, mini split. Okay, that's the first one, 7-inch central controller. And that's the total amount for only one central controller. That's the total amount. The next one is a smaller size central controller, just 4.3 inch. However, the function is very similar. The biggest difference is the maximum quantity for this central controller is just 32 Indo units at most. So it's just for a local network. And next one is the commissioning tool, CE42. It's a debugger. Looks like how's that? Smartphone? It's a touch screen. Yeah. So you can see all of the information, the system parameter data, and commissioning and after sales. Even okay, there are 4 gigabytes storage inside, which means no need for USB connect with it. It can record and store, and for about 4 gigabytes, and the display is also 4.3 inch, and this can do the debugging. Yeah. And for the program upgrade, okay, for VIF, if you change the mainboard or maybe sometimes want to update the control logic, you have to change the chip, right? You need to change the chip. For GMV6, you can use this commissioner tool to download the commissioning tool to the commissioner tool and connect with the mainboard of the GMV6, and then you can upgrade the software inside to help you as that get more function or update something. It's very convenient for the engineer, and for data it can be saved inside, and then you can connect with your PC to get the data. Okay, that's the commissioning tool. Okay, gentlemen, our training is almost 1 hour. Do you need a break or just continue? Do you need a break or not? No need.
It's unmuted.
Break or continue?
Break.
We need a break.
How long time? 5 minutes?
For 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes. Just okay, just 5 minutes. Okay. Have a break. For this presentation copy, I already sent to the sales manager. You can contact them to get the copy. Don't worry. Okay, I think it's time to continue our presentation. Maybe some people they just have a drink. Okay, so we keep the presentation, and if they come, please help me to admit them. Okay, thank you. Okay. This is the debugger, and that's really useful and convenient for our engineer for VIF service. Next one is about the conclusion of central controller. Now you can see these two central controllers, the difference. The size is different. This is 7-inch, this is 4.3. And for the VIF Indo unit quantity, this one is 255, and this is just 32. Okay. But for the system quantities, they are the same, at most 16. Systems can be connected. For the timer, this is the calendar, and this is weekly. Right, this is weekly. And actually, this is the most powerful central controller for VIF system. And I recommend you to choose this one if your project is big. Okay. And for the other controllers, the wired controllers, here are the total of them. The first one, XK46, is the standard. This is in the package of GMV6 Indo units. And the second one, XE70, that's another optional wired controller. The appearance, it looks more, how is that, compact and more beautiful, maybe. And it has the waking timer, which means you can set different timer for 1 week, day by day. And the second one, independent swing for cassette in the units. You know, for our latest model of cassette indoor units, the 4-way cassette, each swing louver can be controlled independently. So if you want the independent swing control, you have to use the XE70, this optional controller. The third one is this wired controller can use the for ERV and DX coil. Yes, ERV and DX coil. This is the special wired controller for them. Next one, XK79 is a hotel controller with a keycard function, which means you can use the room card, put them in and out to turn on and turn off the indoor units. And this XK79 wired controller, it has the setback function. So for the setback function, I will introduce it later. I will introduce the setback function later. XK55 is a touchscreen wired controller. It's not button, it's a touch screen with the colorful display, and also has the awakening timer. Okay, that's all of the controller here. For the wireless controller, this is standard one. And second, that's the debugging remote. It has the debugging function for cassette indoor units. You can use the debugging remote for parameter checking and some special function setting. Yeah, this is specialized for after sales and your engineer. This is optional. Okay, that's the second part about control and management. Next one is about fresh air, because you know the situation nowadays. Many people they care about the air quality and the health of the air conditioning. So for GMV6, it can connect with different fresh air accessory and units. First one is the fresh air processing unit. 1,200 to 4,000 cubic meter air volume. This is a unit. And Pascal, maximum 300. Capacity, maximum 45 kilowatts. So you can use the GMV6, connect with the ordinary indoor units and the fresh air indoor units in the same network, control them together to get air conditioning and fresh air. Another accessory is the cassette fresh air components. This is optional. Install in the middle between the cassette indoor units and the pallet. Then you can connect these two ports with the fresh air duct, get about 10% fresh air to the cassette. This in and supply to the room from the middle. Okay. Next one is the ERV, energy recovery ventilation unit. And you know the ERV is also for fresh air, but there is a heat exchanger hexagon inside, which means you can get a fresh air and recover some energy from the exhaust air. And also you can use the air box to detect the air quality and parameter in the room, such as the carbon dioxide concentration, PM 2.5, temperature, humidity, and then according to this detection to control the ERV running. So for this ERV, our unit is constant air volume. Yeah, it's constant air volume by the speed adjustment to make sure the air supply is constant. And then the linkage control with the ordinary indoor units together. And next one is the ERV with the DX coil. You know, for this ERV, it's just a filter and hexagon heat exchanger inside. Is without refrigerant, without copper pipe. However, this one is ERV with the DX coil. You can see here 2 copper tubes. You can connect with the VIF copper pipe to get some refrigerant and do the cooling and heating by itself. However, the other function is the same, to get the energy recovery from the hexagon. Next one is about filter. For this filter is optional, it's customized. You can ask our sales manager to get it. And this is medium efficiency level, about 70% to 95%. And the resistance is small. It will not affect too much about the air return volume. Meanwhile, the material is the flame retardant. That means it can bear some stages of the fire, no worry. And for the installation and disassembly, there are 5 directions. You can pull out from right, left, up, down, and back. So that's good for the replace and the installation. Okay, that's for fresh air. The next chapter is about the stability of GMV6. For VIF running, because of the system is huge, and many units, many copper pipes, and many cables, and many controllers. So the reliability is very important for the VIF system running. The first one, okay, is about the anti-corrosion. However, currently this anti-corrosion it's only for GMV6 Middle East and EU anti-corrosion series. Only these two series, they have the anti-corrosion, special anti-corrosion treatment, such as the fastener, electric box, and the metal, the fan grill, the gas liquid separator, copper pipe, and the heat exchanger. All of them, we take some special anti-corrosive treatment. We put some painting, anti-corrosive painting on the surface. Also here, such as the material is changed from the steel to some alloy. Yeah. And the fin is black. It's very obvious for you to see the difference with the other GMV6 series. For the other GMV6 series, the fin is golden. For anti-corrosive, it's black. And for each component, anti-corrosive components, we do the test, neutral salt spray time test for them. For ordinary screw, such as the steel or copper, maybe just 120 hours. That's the maximum for the lifespan. However, we change the anti-corrosive series to the zinc and nickel alloy screws. The lifespan is 500 hours. At the same time, the others, such as the electric box, is also coated with the anti-corrosive material. Yeah, the lifespan is also longer. And the metal, the fan grill, and gas liquid separator, and heat exchanger. So if you choose the anti-corrosive series, actually it's better for the lifespan and stability when you install in the coastal city or area or some desert, dust, and some very corrosive environment. It's better for you to choose the anti-corrosive GMV6. That's our recommendation. Okay. That's the first one, lifespan, anti-corrosive. Second one is about communication. You know, for GM6 is the CAN network, CAN plus network. So actually, the total indoor units for system can be up to 100. For one CAN network, you can put 100 indoor units in the same cable, in the same network. And also the response speed is millisecond class response. So it's very fast for communication. And also for central control, it's just the 6 seconds. Every indoor units can get the command from the controller. Okay, for the indoor units, quantity 100, max, this is customized. Yeah, normally it's 80. Normally it's 80. So if you want 100 indoor units for the network, you can ask the sales for customization. That's first one. Next, about the stability is the enthalpy adding control. As I said, for the enthalpy adding control, there is an expansion valve, right? It's an expansion valve. So here is a comparison between the GMV6 expansion valve EVI control with the other common solenoid valve EVI control. Common solenoid valve control is just the on-off, right? On-off, on-off to change the EVI to supply the refrigerant to the compressor, just on-off. However, for GMV6, there is an expansion valve, which means the control is more flexible. You have 5 stages to choose for open or close. So actually, if some problem protection happened, if just one solenoid valve, if overload protection happened, this valve will be closed immediately. Okay, this will cause some danger or problem to the compressor. However, for GMV6, because there is an expansion valve, 5 stages control for the EVI. So if the output capacity change according to the demands from the customer, also the loading, the EVI loading can change, more flexible. Not only on-off, they can change from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different stages for a better adjustment for EVI. Okay, that's enthalpy adding control for GMV6, more flexible. Next one is the preheating. Okay, I know many customers, they are very headache about the preheating time. They think 8 hours is too long for wait, right? It's too long. They cannot wait so long time to before the commissioning, before the use. So in GMV6, we changed the design of the preheating. For the previous generation, there is just external heating belt at the bottom of compressor. So previously, you have to wait 8 hours for preheating, and then start the commissioning, start the use. However, for GMV6, except for the external heating belt, the unit can use the motor winding. The motor winding of compressor, yeah, as a backup preheating, source. So which means the commissioning waiting time is shortened from 8 hours to just 2 hours. It will save your time. Yeah, it will save you a lot of time. That's a very good news for you. Yeah. And another advantage is if the external heating belt is faulty, for ordinary compressor, it doesn't have the preheating anymore. If the external heating belt is faulty, okay, no preheating anymore. However, for GMV6, if the external heating belt is faulty, the unit can use the motor winding inside as the backup heating source to make sure the lubrication, to make sure the refrigerant, no liquids inside, can use the motor winding to generate the heat. That's another reliability design for the compressor. And for the compressor running, another question is how to control and guarantee the oil return. Is very important because if no sufficient lubrication in the system, it may cause some problem of the compressor running. For GMV6, this is a diagram of the system flow path. You can see there are 6 different major oil paths in the system. The first one is the oil return from the oil separator here. This is major oil return pipe capillary from the oil separator. Another is a low temperature oil pass. During the winter, if it's cold, this solenoid valve will open to get a double pipes for oil return to get more oil. And this is oil balance pipe from the discharge to the suction side, to the bottom of a compressor, can also get the oil return. And this is the main pipe in the copper line. And also from the heat exchanger, gets the oil. And gas liquid separator, the suction bottom, there is oil return port, a oil return opening at the bottom, also gets oil from the gas copper pipe. So according to this kind of oil pipe design, the units can get enough oil and ensure the lubrication. And by this design, there is a lot of good news. GMV6, we cancel the oil balance pipe. Yeah, the oil balance pipe is cancelled. Yeah, it's cancelled. That's a good news for your installation and also the copper pipe cost, right? And next one is about the compressor oil drain. For the compressor, for the compressor, so most of the time it's hot, right? It's very hot because the hot gas and the compression and the heat generated by the winding. So it's very hot inside in the chamber. So if too much oil in the chamber, it will cause some effects like the insulation, like the heat insulation for the winding. It will be very hard for the winding to be cooled down by the refrigerant, right? So in this case, if too much oil inside, in part loads, the units will discharge, will use the pump and increase the frequency to discharge the oil to the gas liquid separator to make sure the heat dissipation of the winding still be okay to keep the safety of the compressor. That's the active compressor oil drain control automatically. The next one, for the compressor reliability, there's alternative running. If for some big capacity, there are two compressors inside. So if part load, they can run in turn to balance the service time, right? Service time to get a longer lifespan. That's the alternative running for compressor. And for the system, it can also be shifted and combined freely by the cooling nodes from the indoor side and choose two, 3, or 4 to make sure they can run in the best output efficient region and also guarantee the customer comfort. For the ordinary control, the shift is fixed. The time is fixed, just 8 hours. One by one, then the time balanced. However, for this HPC, just as I introduced, that they can do a matching. They can do a matching for other units and change the combination. Okay. Not only shift the running sequence, we also make the system still run in a good performance and at a lower power consumption point. That's what the HPC do for the system. Next is about the components, such as the electric box. The design is more compact. The overall size is reduced by 35%. It's smaller. It will occupy less. it will occupy less space in the outdoor units, and when you do the troubleshooting, you can see everything, yeah, in the same place. And can you see here? There are two pipes. Do you know what is that? What is that used for? These two pipes. This is refrigerant, liquid refrigerant cooling technology to distribute some refrigerant to cool down the electric box at the back. And for the material of this electric box is aluminum alloy. All of them is aluminum. So the heat dissipation for the electric box is better. No worry about the overheat of here. Okay, that's the electric part, reliability. And next one is about the heating start in winter. Heating start control in winter. For conventional control of heating in winter, it may cause a relatively long time to get the maximum heating output. For GMV6, there is a turbo algorithm inside. So at the beginning of heating in winter, the unit will detect the parameter, ambient tube, and pressure, and adjust the compressor fan and the electric expansion valve to get a very quick increase of the capacity output in a very short time. Yeah, you can get some 75 seconds at the maximum output for a very quick start in winter for heating mode. Okay, this is another technology design. That's a low temperature anti-freezing control. You can see here is the compressor. This is suction, this is discharge. And this is a bypass. Bypass copper pipe. We expand this copper pipe to the chassis, to the GMV6 auto unit chassis. So in winter, if there are some ice or frost, the units can open the solenoid valve to bypass some hot gas to the bottom to do the defrosting and the de-ice. Yeah, that's a new design for the GMV6 defrosting and anti-freezing in winter. It's very useful. And for the operation range, I already introduced. For Latin America, is -25 to 48 Celsius. Okay. However, for the other countries and markets, this range may be different. So for the model, you can just get your series and say the detail of your series. Maybe different, maybe -30 or 55. Yeah, depends on the series and model. Okay, the last part is about the engineering design. That's for our engineer and the designer. They would like to get some information about this part, how to do the design, how much of the limit of the height, the length, right? So here, the first one is about the capacity. For GMV6, this is maximum range. Okay, the max auto units depends on your series. Okay, depends on your series. For Latin America, GMV6 is 88 HP. Yeah, 88 HP currently. And the size, GMV6 is more compact. You can see for these two models, the floor space of GMV6 is reduced about 30%, 40%, which means the installation space is it will occupy less space when you install them. And also the height and the diameter. So for GMV6, you can put it into the elevator. You can put it into the elevator for transportation, and that will save your transportation cost. Yeah, that's the dimension change. Next advantage is duct, auto units, discharge, duct length. For GMV5, the external static pressure 82 Pascal. For GMV6 is 110 Pascal. Which means you can install a longer duct for the auto unit discharge. Yeah, that's a longer pipelines for ducts, and the static pressure is increased to 34%, and that's really good for some special installation, such as auto units you put in the indoor closed room, in a closed area, the basement or machine room. Then you need a duct to discharge hot air. And for GMV6, you can install longer duct. And for this one, next one, the fan running. If you install in a closed area and connect with a duct for hot gas discharge, if there is monsoon or some strong wind, right? Strong wind, it may cause the fan motor run reversely. However, for GM6, there is an internal circuit to detect the rotation direction of the fan motor. If the fan motor running is reversed, the units will brake to stop the fan motor and then start to make it run normally. Yeah, this is anti-wind design for the auto unit fan motor, especially for some region with the monsoon and strong wind, may cause some fan running problem. Okay. Next one is about the pipelines. For GMV6, this part is improved a lot. Yeah, the height, no matter the height, no matter the length, is improved a lot. First one, the height difference between indoor units is 30 meters, and the height difference between indoor units and outdoor units maximum is 110. Depends on the location of them. If the units is upper, then outdoor units is 110. If the outdoor units is upper, then indoor units is 100. And for the maximum single pipe length is 200 meters. And for the single pipe, the maximum equivalent length is 240. And maximum piping, the total length is 100 meters. The length from the first branch to the farthest, longest can be 120 meters. Okay, so actually most of the specification, they are improved and better than the previous generation, and that's more useful and better for the project design. Yeah. Okay, next one for the adapt compatibility. For GMV6 and GMV5, they can share the same indoor unit types, which means if you have many stocks of GMV5 indoor units, you can still use them for the GMV6. Yeah, the indoor units for them, they are the same. And that's the part, the installation. For GMV6, most of this feature is very similar with GMV5. The addressing is auto. The units can do the addressing for every Indo units automatically. No need to do the deep switch setting or manually setting. Just use the button to start the commissioning. Everything will be done by the auto units itself, and no oil balance pipe. Yeah, that's good for installation. And for the pipe outlets, there are 5-way. Left, right, front, bottom, and back. And Indo units, they can be shared. They can be shared for 5th generation and 6th generation. And the controllers debugging for them, they are the same. Yeah. So for the compatibility with GMV5 and 6, that's really good. If you have many stocks. For debugging, you can use the button to start debugging. This is a new access window on the auto units. You can just press the button here to start. We use the software, debugging software, and the commissioning tool to do the debugging or parameter checking or setting, anything you want. And the refrigerant recovery. If malfunction, you have to recover the refrigerant from system. There are 2 choices. Recover the refrigerant from the Indo unit, or recover the refrigerant from the faulted auto unit. There are 2 choices, and it will help you save some refrigerant and store in the condenser. Yeah. Then after you finish your maintenance and troubleshooting, you can charge less amount for the refrigerant and help you save some money. And for the maintenance, there is a backup operation. For GMV5, there is backup, emergency operation. For GMV6, still, this good advantage, we just keep it. For first one, module emergency operation. If module is broken, the system can shield the broken module and make the others run as usual. However, except for module, compressor, emergency, yes. Fan, emergency, yes. And for GMV6, there is a new emergency operation. That's for sensor. For GM5, no. For GM6, there is sensor emergency operation, which means if some sensors, some temperature sensor, some transducer in the system is broken, they can use the other similar one as a backup. For example, such as the discharge tube sensor and the top shell sensor of the compressor. They can be backup, or the ambient and the indoor tube, they can be the backup. So if the sensor is faulty, the units you can set the sensor emergency on the main board of our units. So actually for these 4 emergency, for module, compressor, fan, and sensor, it will give you a very convenient maintenance. It will give you a relatively long time for preparation. Yeah. For indoor units emergency, if for the system, if less than 3 indoor units, if some indoor units is broken, you need to do the troubleshooting. You can turn off them and remove them from network and do the maintenance. No more than 3 indoor units removed from the network at the same time. If less than 3 indoor units, no problem, no worry. However, if too many indoor units removed, it may cause some communication problem. However, you can still use the indoor units emergency just for troubleshooting and maintenance. Okay, let's continue. And for the structure of auto units, the space is more wider because, for the electric box is compact, and also the layout of every components on the chassis we changed. So actually, even a person, they can open the front panel and enter into inside and do the operation. Yeah, there's more space for the maintenance. And for the indoor units service, if you cannot find the location of the faulty indoor units, you can use the boozer. You can use the boozer of each indoor unit on the PCB. Then use the boozer help you find where is the indoor unit. Just follow the sound and find the indoor unit's location. Okay, that's the indoor unit positioning function. Okay, next one, setback. This function I introduced in XT79 wired controller. However, I didn't talk too much. Now I will tell you more information about the setback. So actually, for setback function is for the hotel, because this function can be just set on XK79 wired controller. The others wired controller cannot do that. Yeah. And in the hotel project, there is how to say that is a phenomenon. If customer go out, they take out the card and the unit is off, right? It's standby. And when they return to the room, it's very hot or very cold. So that's not really good for the customer's experience, right? So for example, in summer, this is the temperature customer want, right? So if they go out, the temperature in the room will rise, and it's very hot when they back. And you can set the setback function on the XK79 to activate this function. So actually, if you activate the setback function, the indoor units will detect the room temperature and start the setback running automatically. Just keep them in this range. Not very high, not very low, just keep in the middle range. Consider the power consumption and the comfort of the customer. Okay, you can just consider this function as a automatic run during absence. Yeah, during customer's absence. That's for the especially for the hotel project. And next one, four season operation. And for VIF, for heat pump VIF, it can do the cooling, air supply, and heating in different season. But for some people, for some customer, if some miss operation, such as they turn on the heating in summer, they turn on the cooling in winter, it may cause some problem. So you can use the auto units to knock the running mode in different season, such as knock cooling in summer, knock air supply in transition season, and knock heating in winter. Yeah. Set them on the PCB or wired controller. That's the four season operation choice to avoid some misoperation by the customer. The last part is about the comparison with the other brands. Frankly, you already see most of the features of GMV6, right? So actually, that's really excellent for this VIF. Performance, reliability, and a lot of new features and the design. They are really good for customer and your engineers. So for this part, I will not review and repeat them one by one, because you can see we compare with the other brands, GMV6 is more excellent for many items and for many designs. GMV6 is more excellent. So later you can get the presentation copy and read this table, this chapter by yourself. You can really find out the advantage of GMV6. Okay, so for this part, I will just skip because no need to repeat. Okay, gentlemen and friends, for this morning's online live stream of GREE 2021 products is almost finished. So I'm very glad you joined this chatting room and to participate this presentation, and that's really good opportunity for us to share the information with you. So for this GMV6 product presentation, do you have any question else? Hello? Any question else about the GMV6 product? No?
Yes, I do have a question.
Yeah, please.
When will the new VRF selector be out?
Selector? You mean the selection software? Okay. For the timeline, for the product timeline, you can just contact our sales, because for different region and country, they are depends on the development. So you can, for the time, you can just ask our sales. And okay, my friends, my name is Neil, not Winnie. Okay, thank you. I am a boy. I am a man. Winnie is my colleague, because this is my colleague's laptop. Okay. Okay. So if no question else, no question more, I think today's presentation is over. So very glad you join with us. So thanks for your participation. Okay. So thank you. Okay, have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, and thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Have a good day.